Welcome to Nexus Medical Media. In this video, we are going to talk about wound healing, the phases of wound healing. Right, so wound healing has 4 phases: hemostasis, inflammation, proliferation, remodeling, also known as the maturation stage. In some textbooks, you will see that these two phases are usually combined: hemostasis and inflammation, and then proliferation and maturation or remodeling. Right, so let's begin with hemostasis. Right, so a damaged tissue will expose collagen, which is negatively charged, factor 7, converting it into an active, and then it will be shunted into the hemocoagulation cascade or coagulation cascade, right? And this process has 2 stages: primary and secondary hemostasis. There is a video we talked about hemostasis, so if you click the link on the top right corner, you can watch that video and understand more about this stage, hemostasis. The next is inflammation. What's more important are the cells that are involved, because the most important ones are neutrophils and macrophages, right? So neutrophils, these ones, they actually peak within the first 48 hours since the time of injury, and they are part of non-specific immunity, and they're responsible for phagocytosis and free radical oxygen-free radicals, and this will be responsible for actually killing the bacteria. Next are the monocytes, right? So monocytes, remember, the monocytes are usually found in the intravascular space, right? So they peak at 48 to 96 hours, and they remain elevated for weeks, right? So remember, I said the monocytes are converted to macrophages, right? So this conversion is mediated by hypoxia, acidosis, fibrin, foreign debris, right? So this will convert monocytes into macrophages, like activated macrophages, right? So these activated macrophages have the following roles: angiogenesis, that's formation of new blood vessels. There is fibroplasia. There is synthesis of nitric oxide, which is a very important vasodilator. They also secrete collagenesis, and this will help for the progression into the proliferative phase. Next are the T lymphocytes, right? So these ones, they actually peak at 1 week, and they are thought to modulate the wound environment. Some texts they will say their exact role is not fully understood, but these are some of the substances secreted and the action of that substance, right? For example, or the interleukins, lymphocytes secrete interleukin 2, 4, 5, and these are important for acceleration of inflammatory response and destruction of invading microorganisms. They also secrete interferon gamma, and interferon gamma works by stimulating phagocytic actions of cytotoxic cells, macrophages, and natural killer cells. The lysosomal enzymes are for destruction of invading organisms as well, and then tumor necrosis factor, activation of immune cells and promotion of inflammation. Last but not least, the chemokines. Chemokines are responsible for chemostasis, right? So lymphocytes are known to be like the bridging between the inflammatory phase and the proliferatory phase. This graph just shows the a relative number of cells in days post wound healing, right? So as you can see, firstly you have these neutrophils, they rise first, and then you see macrophages, and then later you see these fibroblasts. We are talking about them later in proliferative stage, and the lymphocytes, right? So the most important ones, like I said, neutrophils, macrophages, like for the initial phases of inflammation. And then on proliferation, that's where we have fibroblasts, and the lymphocytes being the more like the bridging, right? So next, let's talk about the uh, proliferation, right? So this occurs from day 4 through day 14. The hallmark of this phase is production of collagen. And what's happening in this phase? There is epithelialization, there is fibroblast, where there is synthesis of collagen and the matrix, and also there is angiogenesis as the role of fibroblasts again, right? So let's talk about these one by one. Starting with epithelialization. So what's happening here is the basal cells at the wound margin will flatten. Thus, they will mobilize and they will migrate into an open wound, and the cells at the margin will multiply by mitosis in the horizontal direction, and then the cells behind the margin will undergo vertical growth, that is differentiation. As you can see here on this diagram, we are trying to close this defect, right? Next is the fibroblast. So the main signals for fibroblasts are platelet-derived growth factor and epidermal growth factor, right? There is another important type of specialized cell called myofibroblast, right? These are contractile cells, right? So where do they come from? There is conversion of tissue fibroblasts to myofibroblasts, and what helps that conversion is transforming growth factor beta 1, right? So these myofibroblasts are very important, as you are going to see towards the end of this video, right? So the fibroblasts are known as the workhorse of wound healing. They're important for production of granulation tissue, production of type 3 collagen, glycosamine glycans, fibronectin, elastin fibers, right? Let's look at the synthesis of collagen a little bit more, right? So, this synthesis is happening in the fibroblast, right? So, there is collagen mRNA, which goes through the rough endoplasmic reticulum into the Golgi and then exocytosis, right? So, the first stage, we have a pre-procollagen. This is an alpha chain, and next we have hydroxylation of proline residues along this alpha chain, and this hydroxylation will require vitamin C. If vitamin C is deficient, the person will have scurvy, right? So this may seem unrelated to this video, but this is just important. So let me just go through this, right? And the next stage is glycosylation, right? We are putting glucose there, and then we have formation of triple helix, right? So this formation of procollagen via hydrogen in disulfide bonds will form that triple helix of 3 collagen alpha chains. And if there is any problem in formation of that, we have this condition called osteogenesis imperfecta. We'll talk about this. It's an inherited condition, right? And then there is a reinforcement of many staggered tropocollagen molecules by covalent lysine hydroxylysine cross-linking, right? So this cross-linking is mediated by an enzyme called lysyl oxidase. This enzyme contains copper, right? So it works with copper, and if there is deficient of copper, I will tell you the condition that may occur there. And it's also important to note that cross-linking of collagen increases with age, right? So if there are problems in cross-linking, there is a Menkes disease. Menkes disease is just is another inherited condition, as we will talk about it later. Right. So next is angiogenesis. This is a formation of new blood vessels, right? So the extensive formation of new capillaries. Where do these capillaries come from? They migrate from neighboring venues, and what triggers these tumor necrosis factor alpha and beta and vascular endothelial growth factor and the other stimulants which are shown on your left. Next stage is remodeling or maturation, right? So this is from day 8 through years. There is important conversion of type 3 collagen to type 1. Type 1 is higher tensile strength, right? And the conversion of this is mediated by collagenesis, right? So it requires zinc as a cofactor, and if there is zinc deficiency, this may lead to poor wound healing. And also what's happening here is random collagen fibrils are converted into organized ones, right? They are not just random, they are now organized. Wound contraction is the actual contraction where the edges of the wound are pulled towards the center to make the wound small. And this is mediated by myofibrils, which we formed. You remember that's conversion of tissue fibroblasts to myofibroblasts, and those myofibrils have a role here where we're trying to make these wounds small, right? So as a result, the surrounding skin will be stretched and it will be thin. The original dermal thickness will be maintained. However, there will be no hair follicles or sweat glands. All right, so again, these are the stages or phases of wound healing: hemostasis, inflammation, proliferation, and remodeling. After this, I'm sure you can go to your textbook and read this again and again and again until you understand it all. Until next time.